Hello everyone, this is YouTube sensation Delio coming live at you right now as we speak, and I'll be covering the Undertale Iceberg video today.
By CheeseSeatbelt. Please show them some love. Happy face.
You see, I've been watching a lot of Iceberg videos today, and I noticed that there's been a lack of Undertale Iceberg videos today, and so I decided to make my own Undertale Iceberg video. Before we start this video, I'm gonna set some ground rules first. So, rule number 1, I will use this health bar to represent my knowledge of each entry on the iceberg. The closer I am to 1 HP means that I have no idea what the fuck the entry's about. And the closer I am to 20 HP means I know exactly what the entry's about. Also, if you haven't told, this video was heavily inspired by Mish Katz. And now that we got that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. Hope you enjoy. Starting off at the tip of the icebergs, we have the Sands boss fight. In Undertale, there are many routes and playstyles the player can go for. The 3 main routes in the game is known as the Pacifist route, the Neutral route, and the No Mercy run.
It is also known as the No Genocide run, but we don't like to use that word here.
If the player does the No Mercy run and makes it to the final corridor, they will then meet Sans at the end of the corridor. Sans will then give a speech about the player's actions throughout their gameplay and will engage into combat. This boss fight is well known to be one of the game's hardest boss fights, and arguably its most famous. That is why it's on top of the iceberg, since it's the most well-known entry in Undertale. Coming right after the Sans boss fight is the Sand Me costume. September 2019, Undertale's 4th anniversary, it was revealed that there will be a Sans costume for the Mean Gunner in Smash. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the whole entry.
Warning. Warning. Please listen to the following message. Off topic, but has anybody mentioned how cute you look? I mean, I just love looking at your eyes, oh woo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have some news to tell you. We have reached into the spoiled territories. Yes, I know, we're only 3 entries in and now we're in spoiled territories. If you have not known anything about Undertale so far, please go learn about the story. It's really good. But if you don't care about it, then continue on and listen ahead. Anyways, back to the video. Asriel and Kara are characters that are introduced in the near ending of Undertale. Kara is known to be one of the first humans to fall in the underground. Kara was a human who fell into the underground and was rescued by Asriel Dreamer, the son of Toriel and Asgore. They were later then taken by the Dreamers as one of their own. Time passes and Kara and Asriel grew to be best friends. They later came up with an idea to crush through the barrier, a magical spell that trapped all the monsters underground by humans many years ago after a great war. Kara and Asriel came up with a plan that would involve Asriel absorbing Kara's soul, giving Asriel enough power to cross the barrier. To put this in short, Kara died and Asriel absorbed the soul. Asriel took Kara to a nearby village full of humans. In confusion and fear, the humans in the village attacked Asriel, thinking that he killed Kara. Instead of fighting back, Asriel took Kara back to the underground. Wounded and injured, Asriel fallen down in front of his parents, causing Asgore to claim that if any human falls down in the underground, they would be killed and their souls harvested, which in turn caused Toriel to leave him and live in the ruins. And that's basically the entry. Let's go to the next. Toby Fox and Tammy Chang are the small team who made Undertale. Toby is represented by a white dog known as the annoying dog that annoys the player throughout the game. And Tammy is represented by Tammy. Tammies are like these dog-like creatures which are found in Waterfall. They speak in broken English like or, and they eat something that is called temflakes, which is construction paper, if you were wondering. Alright, next on our entry list is the Earthbound connection. I'm not sure what this entry is about, but I have a couple ideas of what it could be. My first idea is that Game Theory's video on Sansby and Ness could be a reference to this entry, but there are other things that could tie, such as Papyrus' Starman inspired Mark, or Toby Fox's first game being an Earthbound Halloween hack that I've never played, but it looks interesting. Whatever, anyways, we're gonna go to the next entry list, because we're going to the next one, alright? Next in our entry list is W.D Gaster, or Wingdings Gaster. He is Undertale's most hidden character. Fans believe that he was one of the royal scientists before Alphys. Not much is known why he's hidden throughout the game, but some believe that he fell into his creation, causing him to be forgotten throughout time and space, and all that's left of him is just small clues and hints of his existence for us to find out. There also seems to be a connection between Sans and Papyrus with him, but I'll save that for a later entry. For now, this is all we get. Alright? Welcome to our next entry, entry 17. Anyways, in the game, where the player enters an area called the True Lab, there are many entries scattered throughout the level detailing the determination experiment. However, one of these entries are missing, which is entry 17. Also, however, I found two entry 17. I'm not sure which one the Iceberg is talking about, but we'll go over both of them. Entry 17. Monsters' physical forms can't handle determination like humans can. With too much determination, our bodies begin to break down. Everyone's melted together. And the other entry reads as...
Dark. Darker. Yet darker. The darkness keeps growing. The shadows cutting deeper. Photon readings negative. This next experiment seems very, very interesting. What do you two think?
And that was both entry 17s. I hope you enjoyed. On to the next one! At Waterfall, there is a secret passage that could be found during the second bridge seed puzzle. In there, you will find a bench which, once interacted, will tell you that there is an abandoned quiche underneath it. You will then be given a choice to take it with you or leave it where it is. There's little info on why the quiche was abandoned. Player interacts with the echo flower towards their right. They will then hear the phrase, "I just wasn't ready for the responsibilities." Make that what you will. Yeah, that's basically it. It's no secret that Undertale has a kick-ass soundtrack, but many people notice that a lot of the soundtrack has reused motifs. For example, Sans, in a song you might hear when you fight Sans. If you speed up Sans, you would get a motif that would sound like the song that you would hear when you fight Sans. Another one is Nasty Blook in the Mad Dummy. I get going on how about Undertale and maybe even some Deltarune songs have connected music motifs, but I'm not doing that today. And plus, there are many channels that do that. I should suggest you check them out. Anyway, next entry. Gaster followers are grayed out existing monster NPCs that are shrouded in mystery. They appear very rarely throughout the game and could be found in Hotland and Waterfall. They are commonly believed to be connected with W.D Gaster, since most of the followers mention Gasters in their text. Here is some of their dialogue as an example.
It makes sense why Asgore took so long to hire a new royal scientist. After all, the old one, Dr. Gaster, what an act to follow. They say he created the core. However, his life was cut short. One day, he fell into his creation, and will Alphys end up the same way?
Alphys might work faster, but the old royal scientist, Dr. W.D Gaster, one day, he vanished without a trace. They say he shattered across time and space. Ha ha. How can I say so without fear? I'm holding a piece of him right here.
I understand why Asgore waited so long to hire a new royal scientist. The previous one, Dr. Gaster. His brilliance was irreplaceable. However, his life was cut short. One day, his experiments went wrong, and, well, I don't need to gossip. After all, it's rude to talk about someone who's listening.
Other than that, we don't know much about them and probably never will. Well, in the meantime, we will never will. Maybe in the near future we will know a little bit more of these guys. Anyways, off to the next entry. After receiving the key to the Sans' room by Sans, that same key can be taken behind Sans and Papyrus' house. In there you would find what appears to be a lab. What his lab holds is mostly unknown. That is filled with mysterious items and a machine underneath a huge blanket. What is the machine? Nobody knows. All we can do is theorize on what it could be. If the player was to interact with the blueprints over the counter, they will then be informed that it is blueprints for the machine covered by the curtains. It is written in a language that the player cannot understand. This implies that the blueprints are either written in wingdings or to be Alphys' messy handwriting. On the other hand, if the player were to interact with the drawers, they would find a photo of Sans being happy with many people who they don't recognize. However, if the player goes back and revisits Sans' lab after fighting Azrael Dreamer, the photo will change to Sans being happy with the protagonist's friends, and the true pacifist ended. The legendary artifact is mostly a joke item in the game. The artifact room is a secret location found in Waterfall. It is accessible after solving the piano puzzle, created by Undyne. In the artifact room is the legendary artifact. But anyways, it's just a joke item that later gets absorbed by the annoying dog, and then you get dog residues, and you can make like a bank selling them to Tammy. But other than that, I don't know what this entry else is talking about. The joystick configuration menu is in the main menu of Undertale. There is an option for the player to set joystick configuration. This was a feature added during Undertale's port of the PS4. Also, the menu title screen thing changes every season, and I think that's cute. ABC_123_A.ogg is an audio file which sounds like this.
Hello, have some respect and don't spoil the game.
It's impossible to have mysteries nowadays.
Because of nosy people like you.
Please keep all of this between us.
If you post it online, I won't make any more secrets.
No one will be impressed.
It will be your fault.
Hope you all enjoyed it. I don't know what else to tell you about, but that's entry. Okay, so I grouped these entries together since they all tied into the AU entry. Let's start off with what AUs are. AUs, or Alternative Universe, is a concept that the fan has made in Undertale. In the fandom, since alternate timelines exist in Undertale, that could mean that there's alternate universes in Undertale. Universes like everyone being evil, or everyone switching roles. Speaking of which, Underswap. Underswap falls into the category of AUs. It is an AU where all the main cast of Undertale swap roles. For example, Undyne and Alphys switch roles of the Royal Guard and the Scientist. I could go on about how AUs are cool and how many of them are kinda fucking weird, but I'm gonna talk about Disbelief Papyrus right now. It's another AU where at the end of the No Mercy run, instead of meeting Sans at the corridor, you meet his brother, Papyrus. There's a whole fan animation out there, and I recommend you to check it out. It's really cool. Link in the description. In the 5th anniversary of Undertale, Toby and Fangamer held a special event where they had an orchestra team play the entire Undertale soundtrack. It could all be found on YouTube. So Sorry is a Kickstarter character added to Undertale.
After a backer named Samuel the Butter Dragon, a furry who donated $1,000 for his troll character to be canon in Undertale.
There was a big controversy about his design of So Sorry. Many people believe that Samuel wanted to add So Sorry to make his fetish and fantasies come to life, which is far from the truth. Samuel only wanted to support the game as much as he could and made sure Toby was comfortable and on board on adding So Sorry. Anyways, don't be mean to this guy, It's been years, by the way, so I don't think anyone would start being mean to this guy, but don't be rude to this guy. He just wanted to help support the creator as much as he could, and I'm pretty sure he didn't want to add any character, but since it's a perk and Toby was legally obliged to do it, So Sorry had to be added. But I hope you all enjoyed the explanation of this, because I was surprised when I started researching this. Oh man, where do I start? So during Undertale's early life, it was quite small, but it was blowing up fast. Most people played the game and finished it in days, but it was relatively friendly for its size. It only started to get worse when Markiplier's playthrough of it, when the fandom was really picking up steam. The fandom were savages towards him since he killed a few monsters, and it was so bad that he quit playing it. But he later then revisited the game after the fandom calmed down. Back to the fandom anyways, a lot of the people were very, and I mean very, toxic towards creators and artists, especially during AU artists. At a convention at Taiwan, a famous artist got a gift from a fan, which was a cookie filled with needles. At the time, the artist did not know that, and once they ate the cookie, it pierced their tongue. This could have killed the artist. And you want to know why the fan did this? It's because the artist drew ship fan art that made the fan upset. And so, through these autism power level thinking, the fan thought that murdering this guy with cookie filled with needles was totally acceptable and justified. Suffice to say, this gave the Undertale AU fandoms a bad rep and caused many of the AU creators to delete their blogs. Obviously, the Undertale / Deltarune fandom has calmed down a lot, and I haven't heard anybody trying to kill people with cookie needles. During the Genocide Run or No Mercy Run, there are many story and gameplay changes during this route. Each differences are usually things like missing NPCs, puzzles being deactivated, or enemy encounters being rare. However, there are also big story changes. For example, Metaton's interactions with the player. Instead of having a cooking show or a quiz though, it just skips it. The player ignores Papyrus's puzzles, and there's many more I could list, but I'll let you all figure out the rest for yourselves. After completing the No Mercy Run, the player is then greeted by Kara. They are then given a choice on what they should do with the world that they killed. The choices are either to erase it or deny erasing it. Both choices don't matter though. Once the player chooses one option, Kara will kill them, causing their game to crash. After booting the game up, the player will be greeted by nothing but an empty howling wind. After waiting at a dark screen for some time, a voice will appear, presumably to be Kara, will ask them if they want to rebuild the world and bring back the characters in it. However, if the player wants their world back, they would have to sell their soul to Kara. If the player gives Kara their soul, the game would close again and then reopen, and the player will be greeted by the menu. If the player then completes the pacifist route again in the soulless run, the end credits are altered to have Kara appear in the end of the photograph or the bedroom, depending on what they choose for the ending screen. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was our final entry of the tip of the iceberg. From now on, we will only go deeper and deeper at this point, getting into the darkest depths of the iceberg.